Good morning, all. So, as I was referring to in my video with the 143999 chosen souls, right? Now, I never really cared about this imaginary concept of 144,000 chosen souls, right? But you all seem to believe in it, right? I believe that everybody could be chosen. So when I say I am chosen, you are chosen, somebody else is chosen, the whole world could be chosen, right? If they choose to do the right things, right? So when I use the word chosen, that is what I actually mean, not your bullshit concept of chosen as in you were just born this royal thing or this royal being, right? And you are more special than somebody else. But anyhow, for those of you who do think like that, right? I realize that in this community, in this spiritual community or whatever you all identify as, spiritual movement of chosen souls or whatever, you all, is obvious that you all just watch people's lives and just do videos based on people's lives, and nothing could be dumber than that, right? Nothing could be done. You imagine you all have I have a platform with 200 and something. I am grateful, right? I have a platform with 200 and something subscribers, right? I don't care for views, I don't care for your subscription, right? Once as I am putting my voice out there in doing the right thing, in teaching about doing the right thing, after having aligned with doing the right thing, that's all that matters to me, right? But you all have major platforms. When I say major, I mean platforms with tens, hundreds, tens of thousands of people, hundreds of thousands of people out there, right? And and you know what kind of bullshit I see keep appearing and reappearing? Bullshit predictions, prophesying that you are trying to get into people's minds, get into people's hearts, trying to get into people's lives to predict certain things about people, right? Just before I left home, I saw one come up by an older lady, right? Someone is trying to prove a point. Someone is trying to prove a point. What good is this doing to you or to your wider following, right? Is this not just gossip? That's why I'm saying that just like how on the earthly realm, right? Just like how on the earthly realm, sometimes we think that, oh, our family gossiping about us, our friends gossiping about us. It's even worse in the spiritual realm from what I realize, right? It is even worse in the spirit realm, right? Because for all, if I could show you all the non-chosen, so-called non-chosen, right? And they will understand where I'm coming from, right? And how dumb some of you all so-called chosen ones are, right? Or those in the spiritual community are, right? What is the point in trying to use tarot cards or even your crappy prophesying nonsense, not even prophesying about God or anything, right? Not even talking about God, but you're talking about people, Dread, right? You're talking about people, right? And you all have a wide platform and a voice, right? Why not come online every day? I have 200 and something subscribers, right? Which I have consistently built for over a year. Right? By coming online and doing videos every single day, teaching something that is worthwhile, right? Teaching the principles that could actually save people's lives if you choose to save your own, if you choose to take the action, right? And then to come online and to see crap like, oh, someone is trying to prove a point or this or that. It does not make sense to me. And that's why if I had a choice, I would choose to not be in this chosen community, right? If I had a choice, I would choose to not be in this chosen community, right? So let's get back to our conversation from yesterday about the nature of work. What is the purpose of your work? Why do you work? And just a recap, right? Why do we work? And what is the outcome of our work? Right? So we would have... Hold on. Yeah. Why do we work? What is the outcome of our work? What is the purpose of our work? And what our work should be geared towards? Right? And we talked about being enslaved in a prison system, which is earth. But earth could actually be a heaven if we all, or if the majority of us, if over half of us, if some of us, right, choose to elevate ourselves via right action, right? If the collective choose to elevate the self via right action and to help others to do the same, right? So this is why this morning I was pissed off again. I woke up fine, did my yoga and so on, right? I calm. But I know how to maintain my internal calm now, whilst I could get angry at the shit that's going on the outside. Because you know why? Most people out there, and most of you all so-called in the spiritual community, apparently, because to date, I still have no idea what actually happened, who hacked my phone, what hacked my phone, right? And subscribe me to all these dumb whatever, right? Because remember, I didn't subscribe to you all, right? I did not subscribe to you all, right? I already know the course of action that I was going to take before police raided my home, right? Before police raided my home. And whoever sent the police to my home, there's a message to you. I already knew the course of action that my life was set out to take, that I was supposed to take in my life. Before you sent police to raid my home, right? I was already on my spiritual journey, right? I was already upon my spiritual path, right? So it was not something that was necessary for you to do, right? It was not something that was necessary for you to do, even if you thought that you was doing some form of good, right? I was already set up on my path, and I was walking my path, right? So I was subscribed to these, how much ever, prophetic preachers, who most of which, some of you all are actually quite fine, but some of you all, including the biblical ones, including the tarot card readers, are just looking for everything to gossip about and make money out of people's life story, right? Through your YouTube and so on. Make money because you have a wide following. Well, I just have 200 and something subscribers. I don't care for this, right? Make money out of people's lives and the illusion of people love stories, right? Without knowing one shit, right? Like I said, if you all were so spiritual in the first place, would you all not have reached out at least to me during all this nonsense that been happening, right? But no, you choose to analyze, prophesy, this, that. I don't know. I am just grateful that I was actually supported by the universe through all of this nonsense that was going on, right? Because you all had no right to hack my phone in the first place, because I was already on my spiritual journey, right? You all had no right to hack my phone in the first place. You all had no right to send police by my house, whoever do it. And no, you all have no right to be gossiping, right? You all have no, but that's your choice. That's not my business. But the fact is that you all are the ones holding back society, not me, right? Because I am already doing that which is right? And you are choosing to use people's lives to gossip about it rather than using your platform and your voice to teach the right thing, right? That's all I have to say about that, right? So this is the third and final class on industrial sociology, right, where we continue the discussion on right livelihood and wrong livelihood, which, by the way, those ads on YouTube that you're all using to get your money by analyzing people's lives, right, by analyzing my life and the life of others, right, is wrong livelihood, right, is wrong livelihood, right? So let's move on to another topic, not another topic, another form of wrong livelihood, right? Let us consider this process of meat consumption and what does it take and who does it take? What does it take and who does it take to get meat from the animal, the alive animal? What is the process from turning an alive, happy animal, right, into that nice, juicy, crispy, spicy or regular KFC leg that when you bite in it, your lips become plastered with oil and your lips look like you're wearing lip gloss, right? Or you bite into that nice, juicy, double hamburger from McDonald's or Burger King, right? Or you enjoying bacon or whatever you all do, medium, rare, well done steak. That is the best and the sweetest and the cleanest meat apparently of all times, right? What does it take? What is the process and the procedure to get that from a happy cow, right? A happy animal, right? To get it to the point where it is at this place of that pleasurable consumption to human beings that they don't even want to acknowledge that what they are doing is wrong, right? That people don't even want to acknowledge the process that it took to get to that point, that you are able to pleasurably consume it with meat, juice, and gravy dripping down the side of your lips and running down your elbows, right? What did it take? What type of suffering did that animal have to endure for it to reach to that point of your barbaric consumption, pleasurable consumption, right? Anybody ever think about that, right? I am sure many have thought about that, right? But it's not something you dwell on. It's something that you would sweep under the rug, because you know why? It would mean admitting that you are wrong about something, right? And God forbid, right? God forbid that you actually have to admit that you are wrong about something in this life, right? I have had to admit that I was wrong about several things in this life. And that's why when people come and be like, oh, what I'm talking about is just my perspective, right? And is right in my eyes, right? People don't know the process that I would have had to go through to actually acknowledge or sit down myself and think through with my using a logical thought process and think through what I am doing, if it's right or wrong, right? If it will lead to my soul evolution, right? Or if it will downgrade my soul, right? But no, people would prefer to be like, people would prefer to be like, oh, you feel you're always right. You feel you know it all. Well, yeah, right? Yeah, because you know why? Some of us have actually been through the process, and the painful and the excruciating process, to come to the knowledge, right? Whether it's by life experience, whether it's by torturous readings, whether it's by whatever it is, right? But we would have had to go through the torturous process and take torturous action, right? And take torturous action to reach the point where we could actually be like, hey, well, this have actually led to my evolution, right? And I know that this have led to my evolution, right? But for some reason, it is this process of change that people fear. It is this process of change in one's behavior that one is afraid of. And sadly, people are just not willing to say, well, hey, I am wrong about this. People are not willing to say, hey, I am doing this and I know it's wrong, but I would not stop doing it, right? I know I have gone through that process, and that's why when people come and be like, oh, that's just your perspective, or that's in your eyes, right? How the frick could eating meat, something like eating meat, right, be right in my eyes and wrong in somebody's eyes? Is either it is or is either is not, right? Is either it is or is either it not. It includes bloodshed. It involves causing direct pain, right, to the life of a living creature, right? And still people will not get that through the thick skull, right? Still people will not get that through the thick skull, and oh, that is my perspective. That's where I want to go in life, right? Really, really ridiculous, right? So as I was saying, everybody who is engaged, we're talking about right livelihood versus wrong livelihood, the things that they don't teach you in industrial sociology, the necessary things to liberate yourself here on earth, which they will not and dare not teach you in industrial sociology, which they will not teach you in the academic, mainstream academic system, because God forbid that you free yourself from their chains, from their systems, right? God forbid that you free yourself from the chains, from their systems, right? So these are the things that they will not teach you in industrial sociology, right? And they will not teach you in a mainstream academic system, right? How to free yourself, truly spiritually free yourself from the chains, right? So everybody, we're talking about right versus wrong livelihood. Everybody from the start of this animal killing process, right? The butchers, some of them are imams, some of them into Shakti worship in Hinduism, right? Everybody, religious people, there are Christian people too who engage in animal sacrifice, right? Everybody who is engaged, but we're talking about this more from a business perspective. So from the start, from the slaughterhouses, from the butchers selling to the side of the road, right, to the distribution companies who distribute the meat to the groceries who stock the meat in order to sell it, right? Wrong livelihood, right? And you could see now why the majority of the population are completely deluded, and most people in life don't have direction. And the reason is because, right, the reason is because you will choose to not have direction, right? You will choose to not have direction, right? And that's why I was saying is that in teaching the spiritual laws of the universe, you will actually come to understand direction in life. You will come to understand direction in life, right? Because teaching the spiritual laws of the universe means that you have to keep yourself in check, right? You have to actually keep yourself and your life in check. And in keeping your life in check with those laws of the universe requires you to confront yourself, requires you to confront the deepest, the darkest, the shadow aspects of yourself, to go through the process, of facing yourself and to heal yourself, right? And that is how I came to heal personally myself, right? Personal healing, right? That's how I came to do my personal healing. It was through this alignment, and not alignment, but teaching it as well, right? So approximately about 60 to 100 people on a daily or every 2 days, every 2 days view my videos, right? Those are 60 to 100 minds that is receiving this knowledge, and now it's up to you to choose what you want to do with it. That's not my prerogative, it's not my business anymore. I've done my part and put the knowledge out there. That is 60 to 100 more people that are impacted or capable of receiving the knowledge than there was before, right? And that's a big difference, right? That's a big difference, because who knows if one person out of those 60 to 100 people actually make the change and decide to teach it to others as well, right? So on this conversation of right livelihood versus wrong livelihood, or true industrial sociology, right? True industrial sociology. Yesterday I was talking about the police, right? And how well, the second encounter now with the police that I had during this year, right? During this year, the second encounter, when the police approached me in a public car park, right, and asked for my ID and so on. I don't walk with my ID everywhere, right? I don't necessarily walk with my ID everywhere. That at that time I did not have my ID on me, my national identification card, right? I didn't have my ID on me. He asked for my ID. I said I don't have it. He was like, so how I will know who you is, right? That's how he was like. So how will I? He didn't. He was like, so how am I going to know who you is, right? How are you going to know who I am, right? If I don't have my ID. Obviously, because my existence is not enough, right? My existence is not enough to prove that I'm an actual human being, right? How will you know who I am? Ask your mother, right? Ask your mother. It's either you ask your mother or you ask my father, right? Ask your mother or ask my father, right? You know, they say that you know who is your child by knowing who is your father, right? Long ago, that was a thing, right? People who didn't know, the current generation of people, when you tell them who your father is, or when they know who your father is, then they'll be like, oh, yeah, that I know the daughter, right? Or the son. Hello. Yeah. So, yeah, it's like if you know the father of the child, you would actually know or who the child is, right? So they'll be like, oh, just say the father name, just say the father's name. I'd be like, oh, there's your father, right? So ask your mother if you want to know who I am, or ask my father, right? Just set that record straight, right? You don't need my national identification card, right? You don't need my national identification card. I don't need my national identification card to prove to any police officer who I am, right? Because who I am is not recorded on my national identification card, right? Who I am is not recorded on my national identification card, right? So, onto another form of wrong livelihood, mainstream media, right? And everybody who is involved in mainstream media, right? Journalists. And there's a reason to which I appreciate that I was banned from writing letters to the editor, right? I was banned by the government, just like how they didn't allow me to go to India, right? I was banned by the government from writing letters to the editor. But I am grateful for this as well. As I said, I am grateful for all the experiences I've had in my life that was meant to tear me down because they actually built me up, right? I was grateful because the mainstream media and me writing letters to the mainstream media meant me participating in that bullshit system as well, which I don't really care to participate in, right? I am doing my alternative work here, right? Which is actually the true work, right? So I don't need to put my voice, right, out onto your newspapers anymore, right? Because I actually do have a voice now and I am utilizing my voice. So you all could keep your newspaper column, your newspaper, your letters to the editor. If the permanent secretary didn't want me to write letters to the editor, well, I am not doing it anymore, right? I hope you are pleased now, right? So mainstream media, all people who are involved in telling lies to people, right, and making people anxious, nervous, right, during the whole scenario, everybody on edge, waiting to see what is the next COVID death, right? What number is the next, how much COVID cases. Meanwhile, everybody freaking, well, in my experience, right, nobody actually sick, right? Actual sick, right? I'm talking about people who were around me at that time. Nobody were actually sick, but everybody making themselves sick. Everybody making their stomach sick. Everybody making their chest hurt. Everybody making their anxiety ring off because you're waiting and you're on edge to see what is the next COVID count, right? When the PCR test is one of the shittiest bullshit tests that was never meant to test COVID, right? It was never meant to be used to test COVID, right? Mainstream media and everybody who are engaged in telling lies to the population. Wrong livelihood, right? Wrong livelihood, as we've been discussing throughout my sociology classes. Mainstream education, right? Wrong livelihood, right? Because you all see what happened to me and so on, and how I am still waiting for my interview from the Ministry of Education. I am still waiting for my interview to teach what I was assessed to teach, right? I am still waiting my interview from the Ministry of Education to teach what I was assessed to teach, right? After 8 years, right? All those who are involved in a mainstream education system, government systems, wrong livelihood, right? Medical institutions, the biggest players, right, in this whole COVID scenario and all that. All those who are involved in the government medical systems, right, and perpetuating these lies that you all know are lies, perpetuating the lies that you all know are lies, right, perpetuating the bureaucracy that you all know is a bureaucratic process, right, perpetuating that system, wrong livelihood, right? Keeping back forward movement in society, right? Keeping back forward movement in society, right? If you ask anybody what is the goal of their life, what they actually want, you would find these responses. You would find people saying, I want peace, right? I want happiness. I want peace, I want happiness. What are you doing though? What are you doing in your life to truly experience that peace and that happiness that you say that you want? What course of action are you taking in your life to attain the peace, happiness, and for the few of you all who say that you want freedom, right? Even worse for you all. What are you doing to attain the freedom that you say you want, right? Food for thought, and this brings an end to this topic on industrial sociology, true industrial sociology.